The Miracle Bear pulls a miracle. First place.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
And we're live. Actually, we're not live. We're taping this on Monday morning, but this will be live shortly. And we are back for another installment of Heavy Muscle Radio with a big weekend and a classic physique move to the Open, overall win, an Olympia qualification for Urs Kalecinski. Chris, how significant is this in the world of bodybuilding?
It is. It's huge because it just goes to show you the diversity of the categories. You know, I don't know how many times I've harped on the show that the Open Olympia, you know, Hardy was 212, Derek was 212, Bonac was 212. You can go on and on of like successful people who moved on from 212, and then you had Bumstead, second place last year in Prague. And then now the Miracle Bear pulls the miracle and wins his first open show, going to the Olympia. It's like probably, I mean, one of the biggest stories of the year, simply because the expectations were probably, you know, for sure first call out, you know, in the mix, but would he be big enough? And I think that everybody, including myself, would say, no, this is a physique I expected like next year, not the first year out in the Open in terms of size.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he put on, I think he put on something like 30 pounds. Now, obviously, he didn't put it all on. He obviously was holding himself back to make that weight class. You know, when people say, oh, he's 36 pounds heavier than he was the classic guy, whatever the weight increase was. Some of that was him holding himself back, probably 10 pounds of it. I mean, you've brought Ramon down 10 pounds easy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Dave, the interesting part of that is, I mean, there's so many storylines to it, but I honestly thought his physique was getting worse in the Classic.
Me too.
I you know, and I would see him. There was one point, like even 2 years ago, where, you know, I saw a picture of him like online and I thought he looked great. And then someone said he was like X amount of weight over. And I thought, there's no way he's going to be in contention for whatever show it was. It might have been the Arnold, you know, one of those two, Arnold or the Olympia. And just the idea of coming down for like seeing his condition, which was tremendous, and then seeing or knowing where he had to go with the weight, I just knew that like he'd not be effective on stage like he was in, quote, those pictures that I was seeing. And then last year, although he had a good placing, I didn't like the way he just looked like too thin and angular, if that makes sense. Like I saw like angles and pointiness to his physique.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the Classic is just that he outgrew that division, but more impressive was to realize it, you know, and take the risk, and that he was smart enough, you know, to say like, you know, I'm pounding my head against the wall here. Why don't I give Open a shot? And maybe the inspiration was Bumstead, you know, because, you know, obviously he went on to do an Open show and beat a lot of good bodybuilders in that show. And then, you know, here's Urs coming in 30 plus pounds bigger than his Classic weight. And he has a better physique for it, really. You know, the legs are fuller, pecs are like twice the size, arms are 3 times the size. I mean, like all the weight went to his arms, back, well, everywhere, pecs and legs.
Yeah, the only weakness I see in him at this point was his back could be a little bigger, but I mean the improvements he made is amazing. And like you said, his physique was getting worse because he was holding himself back, kind of like a la Derek Lunsford, what Derek was doing to himself, trying to make 212. He would look great, 6 weeks out, and we think this guy is unstoppable, and then all of a sudden he would look terrible at 212. Urs just looked worse when he brought his weight down, and I think someone had to talk with him. I interviewed him a couple of years ago, and we were talking about that. I said, you're really young. I said, and I think Marcus Rule was helping him at this point. And he's like, yeah, Marcus. I said, theoretically, you have a big frame. You can do the open. You kind of reminded me a little bit of Dennis Wolf's physique. And he said, that's on the agenda at some point. He's like, I'm not there yet, but it's on the agenda. So I think this was always the plan, to move to the open. It wasn't like he was against it. Some of these guys are just against it. He always had that on the agenda. I just didn't think he knew when to pull when he was going to actually do it. And I guess after
you know what's so realized, what the telltale sign is that he was too heavy for the division. He is absolutely leaner and sharper at that classic weight, and yet his glutes are like, in open, they're like bigger and more strong than they are. You see what I mean? Like getting to that weight, like
right. It deflated him. It deflated his body. Yeah.
It puts a pin in like both the, and everything.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, obviously he's a super successful open guy now by having won the show, and he was super successful in the classic. The classic, like any division, 212 or all the divisions, they have a weight cap on them, and I've always said it'd be interesting if there was no cap.
I know.
But then I think what happens is you destroy the classic division because it turns into like too much of a. You have to have
the guys at the top get too good. That's why, Chris.
Keep them classic looking. But my point being here is that if he had the ability to come in, let's say at last year's Olympia, and say, what, we're going to throw your weight cap out the window and see, bring in the best that you want to bring in, which might have been 6 pounds bigger, and it'd be a totally different physique than what you were seeing on stage. Still classic, of course, but the canary in the coal mine there is, of course, or whatever that saying is if you take the cap off, then you'll have people going into the show who look like they're open. And
well, it becomes the open then, essentially, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a perfect summation. It becomes the open.
I mean, yeah, you'd be dumb not at that point. You'd be stupid not to do the open because the open's got a lot more money there. I mean, this was a good move for him. And I'm going to make a very bold statement right now. And you could agree or not agree with me, but I'm going to make a bold statement, and I'm going to even highlight the fact that I'm making this bold statement. I believe that all the guys that are like 5'10" to like over 6 feet in classic, that are at the top of the that are placing it in the Olympia top 6, every one of those guys, if they added enough muscle, could be spectacular open guys. The short guys. No, because they're gonna give up too much weight. But the tall guys, because they're structurally so great and they have such a big frame, okay, most of those guys from Logan Franklin, Urs, Ramon, all these Bumstead, all these guys that fit into that category, Logan Franklin, they could all go into the open and be very, very, very competitive, maybe even knock out a lot of those guys in the top 6 because structurally they're better. I think a lot of these guys are using it as a stepping stone. I mean, Logan started in men's physique, went to classic. I mean, now he can go to open if he wanted to. What do you think about that statement?
Well, you said very 3 times, so you must be pretty adamant on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's, there's 2 people who proved it. Bumstead proved it, and Urs proved it. So, I mean, think about that. Bumstead did an open show and was almost first. Urs does an open show and is first. So, there's other people in that division who you just mentioned who could move up, and they probably will move up at some point. Some, maybe a couple of them, but it just goes to show you like how remarkable both the 212 have always been, where 212 bodybuilders move up to open and they win Arnold Classics, including that's 3 Arnold Classic winners: Bonac, Hardy, and Derek Lunsford. And, he has 2 classic guys jumping out of classic and essentially winning shows. I mean, Bumstead didn't win, but he was close to it. He was knocking on the door. So
probably should have won.
It just shows you how competitive, 212 is. It shows you how incredibly competitive classic is. And it's amazing that people have accomplished that. And it opens up other people's competitors' minds, whether it be 212, should I do open? I mean, we're talking, right, Keon, when's he going to do open? Not going to stay there forever.
No.
The kid you helped, 212 kid.
Kareth. Yeah, Kareth.
Kareth. I call him Terrence. That's why I said the kid. Kareth, who's not a kid. I mean, he just did open in a superbly deep Texas lineup. First call out. As thick as anyone. Well, not quite as thick, but as good as anyone in the first call out in terms of, not winning. He wasn't winning, but he was in the mix, and that's just another 212 guy. So, and there's others.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you. That's what makes it exciting. For some reason, we always like when people can cross over and compete against each other. I mean, the whole idea behind the Super Bowl, right? The AFL, NFL originally.
Well, it's like Fernando Valenzuela from baseball, the name that you'll love, being called up from like single A baseball to I think the Yankees or the Oakland A's.
Wasn't it the LA Dodgers?
Yeah, the Dodgers. I can't remember who he went, but somebody being called up like from like the quote farm team, and then all of a sudden, right off the bat, is a superstar, and you're like, well, where was he?
Right. Well, Doc Gooden, 19 years old, New York Mets. Yeah. So I know what you're saying, but let me pull up. Hold on, I want to pull up this top 5 call out here for you. All right, let's look at this. As much as we're making a big deal about Urs, I got to tell you, I really, really liked Quinton Aria in this lineup.
Yeah,
what made Urs win over him? It's like I said, as much as the good feel good story is Urs. I mean, why does Quinton lose this show?
I wasn't there. Stand and relax from the front. Urs had full pecs. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's so hard to tell by video, and I don't want to. It's so hard because video is like.
I know it's not really true.
Because Quinton, you could say on the video, okay, Quinton should have won, and then.
I mean, no one's going to. I mean, the conditioning in Quinton was amazing. I mean, the video is not doctoring that up. I mean, the guy has crazy striated glutes. I mean, he has his quads came up. I mean, his waist is tiny. Look at that ab thigh. Kind of looks a little like a little rodent-ish, And I mean, he's massive. I mean, he's made so many improvements. I mean, what do they want from this guy? I mean, I can't figure out what won the show for Urs Kalecinski other than. Maybe he was the most hyped guy in the show.
I mean, I haven't really got a chance to review any like real pictures. You know what I mean? And
Urs has got that graininess, like it looks like. Chris,
it could be that. It could be like that. Urs, he's always had like a thin skin look. Just really hard to say. I mean, I think that to some degree, Quinton, I think he chased condition here compared to Texas. Because he looked, or whatever the last 2 shows, he looked bigger at the last 2 shows. And I think maybe he gave up like pec fullness maybe, or, you know, so he, you know, it's a trade-off, right? You get, you know, tighter here and flatter there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I said, because I wasn't there, and like, I mean, we'll talk about it. Like I saw on video, like pictures of Sergio, and he looked very good. But then I saw like a picture yesterday, late last night, from the stage of his back double, and I thought it's like never looked like that. It was a lot better, like markedly better over FIBO. So you don't pick that up at all in the video. I was watching video of him, and he looked really sharp, and then but in still pictures, which there's not many around, I thought he looked super sharp. So it's hard to say, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did you see this little scuttle on stage with Sergio Oliva Jr., who finished 4th?
No.
Hold on. Let's just. This reminds me of Kai Phil. Sergio likes to talk smack. You're not gonna intimidate Sergio on stage.
Yeah, I didn't see the score sheets because I thought Sergio compared extremely well. Like,
yeah, I was going to ask you about Sergio next. That was so. If you want to talk about it,
I think they docked him a lot on the.
What?
I don't know, side chest. I thought his side chest, the pecs could have been. I thought he looked really good, so I'm trying to look for negatives.
Well, he was massive. You know, it looked like his waistline.
And he was hard.
Tapered.
He was massive, hard. His arms are gigantic. His legs are, you know, bigger than ever. They were very, very hard.
I mean, do you think it was like? I mean, because Quentin has a tiny waist and Urs has a tiny waist.
Took that. You know what? I was just going to proceed on to maybe the impact was stand and relaxed, which I think Sergio's got a very good stand and relax, but Quentin has a smaller waist, and Urs has fuller pecs with a smaller waist. Even though I think he's smaller than Sergio, I think he's smaller than Sergio for sure. I think Sergio's a bigger bodybuilder.
Yeah, Sergio was definitely the biggest guy on stage.
Yeah. So that's why I was alluding to moving towards, like, you know, where do you put Sergio, simply because he's definitely big and he was definitely in condition. So I watched the live stream, which was not really that, one, clear, and then two, the camera was like way too tight. You couldn't really get a good eye on who was not, how people looked, unless they were like, because the camera was like on mostly not even the top 4, like who was standing like on a 4-person call. Yeah. So I couldn't see like how he looked in comparisons unless they put him in the middle, which they did.
Right.
So they jumped.
The funny thing is, I can't find the scorecards anywhere. They're not online.
They moved. They're still inventing them. I'm just kidding.
No.
They move people around. You know, that's the only thing I got off the live stream, is that they.
They work these guys, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even see. I'm trying to find some footage of Sergio on stage doing his routine. I didn't see it anywhere.
I didn't see. Maybe it was on his Instagram. He's got a back double that looks.
Oh, great. Let me see.
He's got a back double. That must have been where it is, because I think he's the only bodybuilder, him and Jay, that I follow. How's that?
Really, I don't believe it.
Well, you can look on Instagram, Dave, and see who the.
You don't follow me?
Nope.
Yes, you do. You follow me for my.
I do. I follow you personally for the kids.
You follow me for my children's.
Yeah. Antics. I don't follow you for like species of
Chris,
bodybuilding.
I think I need to hire a tutor to get me through the kids, to help me with the kids' homework.
Use AI. Use AI.
That's what I do. I have to Google shit.
Don't Google it. Use AI.
How do you use AI? Well, you just ask it.
Use
doesn't AI essentially?
Yeah, Google has an AI.
Yeah.
Google has an AI advanced. You can ask them like what was, you know, like the perfect peak week for Sergio, Urs, and Quentin, and it will spit you out 3 different peak week.
I'm not kidding, Chris. I know we're doing contest prep, but I have to throw this in there because I thought so. My daughter, my daughter who's in first grade, she just turned 6. Okay, she's like the youngest kid in first grade. This is what they come home with this homework, and they have like these shapes, like cubes, the pyramids, and all these things. And the teachers want them to tell you how many base vertices there are, apexes, and all these. I'm like, I don't even know what they're asking.
Yeah. Well,
you know how many vertices in a triangular pyramid?
Well, the teacher had
called. How about a square pyramid versus a triangular pyramid?
I was going to stump you on the Ask Dave show when you have it. I was going to call in and disguise my voice and say,
Chris, they're in first grade.
They should be coloring.
Yeah, exactly. For first grade, they want to know the vertices of a pyramid. How many vertices there are, or how many faces on it. With drawn on a piece of paper. It's not like they're giving them the pyramid and say, "Here, count how many faces on it."
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I can't even believe the homework and the fact that I have to look it up to make sure I have the right answer. I mean, I know the answers, but I got to make sure because it's not an easy question. You know, I don't want to give her the wrong information.
Yeah,
it's completely nuts. I don't know where they get this homework from. I know some kids have no homework. Some schools do no homework.
Yeah,
my kids' school, they have so much homework and I got to do 3 of them with them. You know what I mean? So it's like I have 3 kids' homework, and they're complaining. Oh, we hate homework. I'm like, you're complaining. I already finished doing homework. I went to school for 12 years. I went to college for 4 years, medical school for 3 years. I thought I was done with the homework. Now I'm doing 3 people's homework with them every, whatever I get them. They're doing. It's really crazy. I don't know what these teachers are thinking, but it's kind of crazy the amount of homework that they give.
I went through the homework. I'm going through it again, where I don't know the answers.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You have a son who's.
I have a 1-year-old. I have a.
You have a 7-year-old, right?
First grader, first grade, and 7th grader.
Yeah. So you have the same as me. So, but it's really crazy. Even my son who's in 4th grade has.
Dave, what you just drank?
I got to drink Diet Coke. I got to drink caffeine now to get there.
Did your father have a flask?
No, he had a thermos. You know what a thermos? Does anyone out there know what a thermos is anymore? Your father had a thermos, right?
The Italians had flasks when I was growing up, and they.
My father's a teacher. He couldn't bring his. You know what he probably did? Who the heck knows? He can't drink while he's teaching, but he definitely was drinking when he got home. That's for sure. They had the wine, but my father had a thermos. It had to be 100 years old. This thing. And every once in a while, I remember the thermos would break because the inside of a thermos was glass.
So
it would keep his coffee hot that he would bring with him. And it would, whatever else he put in there, I don't even know. I guess it was coffee he would bring in there. And I remember seeing that thermos. It was so stained black inside because from the coffee, And every once in a while, it would break and there would be glass in there. And it back then, they made it seem as though like it was $1,000 for this thermos. It was a major. I remember it was a major calamity that he had to buy a new thermos. I don't know what they cost back then, but that's at least in my household. It seemed like it was a major problem.
That was just when I would go to school. Let's get off all this, but when I would go to school, every single day when I was a kid, my father would say, "Don't scratch my car."
Right.
And now my cars have like thousands of scratches. My kids go by with the bikes, and
I know.
It was a calamity if they broke a thermos or put a scratch in a car.
Well, you told me, you said, Dave, don't fight it. You're not going to be able to keep your walls. The walls are going to have dinks, dents, scratches. I go around with the paint, and I'm like, and I touch it up. Now in Florida. Unlike up north, the walls are textured. So if my son smashes into the wall,
you have to texture the whole thing to get it right.
The whole thing's textured. So what I do is I just take the paint and I splash it on there, and I texture over the dent in the wall. So you can't even tell the difference, you know. But if I was up north in New York, the wall would be destroyed because you'd see the mark on it there.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
the house you move into after you have kids is not a house.
No, you don't know. You don't control your house anymore. Anyway, getting back to the show. I have to believe that Sergio is upset about this the show. I haven't talked to him. Have you?
No, I talked to him the day of the show. Wish him good luck, and I'm sure he thought, like everyone who's doing the show, but he was bringing his best. So it's always disappointing when you bring your best and you don't get the call that you want or expect.
It was a great lineup. I mean, it's really. I mean, Mark Hector looked great too.
Mark Hector looked excellent.
I mean,
Mark Hector is a good bodybuilder. You know, I don't know if he looks young to me. He which means
he's older on the left. Yeah,
there's room to get better because a young body can improve. He needs back. That's about it.
Yeah. You know, Sergio looks like his arms and his shoulders are so overpowering. It almost makes his back look a little small. You notice that?
He's got back width, and he's got back. I mean, you can't see it in these pictures. He had back thickness too, which was but his arms and delts are just ginormous.
Yeah, I mean, he as he's getting older. Have you noticed that he's morphing more and more?
His physique is morphing. The taper, the shoulders, it all looks.
Have you noticed he's looking more like his dad as he gets older?
Yeah.
He's almost like a carbon copy. I mean, facially, I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I know facially he does. From behind, look at that behind. Look at the shoulders and arms and
I
back.
know.
Just like his father, the head shape. Yeah, he
was unbelievable.
I'll probably talk to him this week. He looked tremendous.
I don't. Is there any more qualifiers?
Looks tremendous. They're all that top four right there. All looks tremendous. I don't mean
for a last show or one of the last shows of the year. I mean, before the Olympia. I mean, this is a tremendous lineup. You know, I have to believe that Quinton Aria is got to be super upset with this. I would be.
He's got to get on the SAS El Haradi.
I know.
Frequent flyer program because I don't know how many. Right. I don't know how many seconds SAS got, but I stopped counting after the first one.
Right. No, Dennis James has got that September 14th show. Is that a qualifier still, or we
Germany? I think so. Germany is next week.
September 14th. Yeah, I think that Quinton's got to do that, right?
Yeah, he has to because it just he
belongs on that Olympia stage. He definitely does.
At this point, you know what? People ask me all the time. Someone just asked me, "Can I win a classic pro show?" And I told them, "No, no, and yes." And I said, technically you could, but you have to, one, you have to pick a show because some shows are tougher than others. And then if you don't win it, which you probably won't, you need to find other shows because on any given day, Quinton can win a show. It just depends on who shows up at that show. And, when it's super crazy close, you got to keep on going once you have the ability to qualify. I'm not saying that he can't win a show. The person I was talking to, Classic, I think he can win a show and get plastered at the Olympia, but he can win a show. It just happens he has to show up at one of these shows where it's not like 9 people deep in terms of the top 3 and 4 are all potential Olympians.
Right.
You got to keep going. And you know what? You learn stuff when you keep going. You learn maybe I over dehydrate, or maybe I don't dehydrate enough, or maybe I carb up too much for all these shows, or maybe, I don't carb up enough. There's always something that you can get out of a show as a competitor.
Right.
You don't know until you try it.
Right. I love this picture. Do you see this picture? Made in Germany, all these guys, the German guys. That's Matthias Hallweck. Then you got Urs, Budesheim, and then Amir Amiragic. It's a great picture.
So
Germany's making it. Is Urs the next Dennis Wolf, or can he be that good?
I don't know. He's Dennis Wolfish. I always said from day one that I always compared in my mind way back when Reagan Grimes with Dennis Wolf because of the width.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Wolf had crazy width, but Urs has great width. That could have been why he won. He has great breadth. Like in the front lat spread, because maybe it's not so much breadth as width as it is. He's got good width, and he's got a small waist, so that on things like front lat spread and front double, like Dennis Wolf, front double, front lat spread, a lot of shows he's in first place, minus, let's say, Phil's prime. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Dennis would be, in my eyes, Kai Green every single time on the front double and front lat spread.
Right.
But those are only two poses. But the point is V taper.
No, I think that he's I think he could certainly be. There's let me pull up this picture here. There was a comparison of him to Dorian too, and because his front poses and his look a little similar. He's got kind of like a similar haircut now. Which, by the way, Urs, I love the haircut. That haircut at the Olympia last year with the white hair, it was terrible.
Yeah, that was Liberace.
Yeah, that was the worst haircut of all time. But this haircut is perfect. Don't change a thing. It's great. It's the Jay Cutler haircut. But no, they were making the comparison of him to Dorian, and I think that in pictures you can kind of like schmooze people together and almost make it look like people have no idea what Dorian looked like. Well, Urs's back is not even like a fraction of Dorian's back. But he does have some similarities.
Hold on. Dorian has, in photos, the worst quads in history of a Mr. Olympia.
I know.
And how big are his quads in real life, Dave?
Oh my God, ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
At the 90, he came back the 95 Olympia. He come back with the torn or whatever.
Yeah.
But like NASA came out, and I think the crowd fainted, at his size. And just Dorian had that size plus more with like skinless. But his legs were at that show. But right, if you look at pictures.
Oh no, I'm laughing because someone put this picture. I just saw it. This is remember when Dorian had that long hair when he went against, I think it was against Haney, right?
Yeah.
It almost looks like Urs's hair too. That's very great. Whoever put that together is genius. That was great. Oh my God, Moroccan muscle. Moroccan muscle.
I think the Dorian comparison's a little premature.
Yeah, I think they do look a little bit alike. When they're in contest.
It's so weird that anyone who's been around, ask Jay like the first time he saw Dorian in person.
Oh, it wasn't. It's like your jaw hit the ground. Yeah,
your jaw hit the ground. You're looking at like a white elephant.
I thought, oh my God, I can never look like this, or this is what I want to be, that was the epitome. Everyone wanted to be Dorian back in that day. I mean, even the people who could never look like Dorian with the shape wanted to look like Dorian. That was just the way it was,
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. Here's the comparisons these guys are putting up. Let me see. So they look a little alike than that, but Urs is quads are not as good.
They do.
Let me go to the next picture. Hold on. Look at Dorian's calf though. People forgot about how crazy his calves were. You know.
Everything, but he looks like trash as usual. I never got it with Dorian, like videos, like pictures, and because I'd seen multiple times, you know, and just like, I mean, I'd seen like Gary Stridham at Gary's all-time biggest, which was really impressive, and we never saw anything close to that stage. You know, he'd walk around very hard at, you know, high 290s, and I don't even care what Dorian's weight was, but what's seeing Dorian, you know, like in person, you say the back width. Talk about back width.
Look, Nasser used to call Dorian Backzilla. And there was a reason, because Nasser would always lose to Dorian because of Dorian's back. So he was trying to make it seem like Dorian had no other body parts, and he was just back. He just had a back, and that's why he beat him every time. But yes, Dorian had the other body parts too, but his back was so superior to everyone else's that clinched it for him. From behind, even from the front, his back was impressive. Look at the lats flaring on the ab thigh right there. Dorian didn't have the smallest waist, but those lats flared so wide that it gave him that V taper that he needed, and he was unbeatable because of that. That when he would walk around in a sweatshirt in the off season at 300 something pounds, it almost looked inhuman. He looked like a gorilla in a sweatshirt. His back was like stretching the sweatshirt. Even the baggy T. Michael sweatshirts and the Powerhouse gym sweatshirts he would wear, his back was just like almost ripping the sweatshirt open because there was no sweatshirt that could fit that back. It was like he was hiding like another person back there or something. That's how big he was. You know, I was 315. I had enormous quads and delts and pecs and you know, my back was good, but I didn't have the width. That's what was so impressive about him. The width was incredible. Even Jay Cutler, who was wide structurally speaking, he didn't have those lats that flared beyond his shoulders. You know, it's hard to explain to someone unless you saw it in person. It was incredible.
That's why I said he looked terrible on, you know, in pictures compared to like seeing him in person. You see him, it's nuts.
No, I haven't seen a single video or a single photo that, you know, here's some video that someone put up with Dorian.
95 was really, 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 really good.
Oh, that's Dorian Nasser right there. And this wasn't even it. I think this was Dorian's end of his year. But look at that back. I mean, the back was unbelievable. So, look at Dorian's front double. Look at those lats, how they flared. No one has that.
I hate seeing videos of him because he looks like shit.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
so weird.
Just look at the size of his back, though. That's what we're seeing right here. I mean, forget how he looks, because he was grainy, gnarly, hard in person.
True.
But no one has that lat that just comes out from his waist that goes to his shoulders, and it's.
Dave, as his training was, he could not answer those first grade questions about the triangles.
But look, Urs, great win for Urs. I truly feel for Quentin Area. I really believe that he kind of got screwed in a sense. But I understand the wow factor of what Urs brought to the stage, and I think it was the feel-good story of the weekend, right? People wanted to see that. It happened. I have to believe it was close. The fact that the scorecards aren't up yet tells me that it had to be very close, right? I don't know.
I thought it was close, you know. Yeah, I wanted to see the scorecards because I wanted to see like, well, you know, scorecards don't tell everything anyway. I mean, you could have straight first, and it's, you know, it's not a slam dunk show, you know.
It's weird how no one's got Sergio footage up. It's all Lewis Breed, who was fifth. You know, who's freaky. He's probably the freakiest, hardest guy in the whole show. You know, he just doesn't have the structure of these other guys. You see, everyone's talking about Quentin Area and Mark Hector, but I haven't heard anyone talk about Sergio. I mean, I wonder if Sergio is going to do Germany. I would hope he does.
Quentin seemed flattish in the back and flattish straight here because especially here, that was such a wow, crazy wow with the last 2 shows, which is why we said, holy smokes. And here he didn't have that wow.
Yeah, but are you saying that just because you're trying to figure out why they didn't why he didn't win, or are you being serious?
No, my first impression was, but he looks good there. You know, my first impression was that he had like more pop. Keep going with this. I want to take this is pretty good footage. Yeah, he looks good there. Yeah, he looks good there. Keep going. Don't stop it.
Yeah. I mean, he's hard. He's like
he is
separated.
hard.
I mean, I mean, can he be bigger? Yeah, but I mean, look at those glutes and hamstrings, Chris. I mean it's a pretty dangerous. It's pretty dangerous competitor right there.
Very good.
Yeah. I think we'll see him win Germany. That's my suspicion. You know, sometimes 2 guys are really, really good, and they got to give it to one guy. And it would have been better if Urs won in Germany, since that's where he's from. But you know, it is what it is. I'm excited though to actually be able to report on a show that actually was this competitive and was this good. You know, we really were thinking that everyone's qualified already. That we don't, you know, there's no one that we have to really think about. Here's a good Quentin picture from the Magic Mirror, or a Magic Mirror. Guy is a monster. This is him training with Samson Dowda the last couple weeks, which is you gotta hand it to Samson. Let this guy come stay with him and train with him. I mean, this is theoretically his competition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, Samson's just an overall good guy, though. You know, Samson doesn't seem like he's a jealous guy. He seems like he's like the kind of guy that, like, you know, if you beat him, you beat him. He's fine. He's going to be your friend no matter what. And he's just like a very, you know, welcoming type of person. Whereas there's other people are very secretive and they don't want to share anything with anyone else. They don't want to let anyone into their inner circle. You know, you never would have seen Dorian Yates, you know, inviting Nasser or Flex Wheel to come train at his gym, you know, prior to the Olympia. That's for sure. So this is cool that these guys are, you know, doing this. I like to see this. This would have been Blackman would have sent Parabanal over to UK, right, to shoot this.
Oh yeah.
We gotta get training photos of these 2 monsters together. We'll call it Monster Mash.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, Dave, what would he put on the cover of Monster?
Monster Mash in UK.
He'd do the pull out. You know, the pull out photo and get a sponsor for it.
Oh yeah. How did you know he would get sponsors for those posters, Chris?
Because people told me he would hit him up like they'd have
yes
he'd have ads, and then he'd be like, you want the poster, and they're like, I've got ads already. He said, but it's not the poster.
No, but it's a poster. People hanging on their wall. It's free advertising.
Yeah,
put it on the poster.
It's like me going to collect the rent and saying, after collecting the rent, saying, oh, there's a stove and refrigerator fee every month.
Well, if you want the Viking oven, we charge you extra for that. That's all. Oh my God!
Monster Mash, right on.
Monster Mash.
It sing the song.
We'll get who sings Monster Mash? We'll bring it back. Nostalgia, Chris. It's all about everyone's into nostalgia now. You know,
Dave. It's so funny because he would. I can't believe how you could get into that person. The Monster Mash, you would go right. They're like it hits the nail right on the head.
He loved all the you know, but he's right. He was good. These pictures. Imagine Parabanal shooting these freaking pictures in the gym with the 2 with Samson and Quentin. It would be a freaking bestseller. You know.
Yeah.
It'd be a bestseller. It's a shame that there's no magazines. It really is. I mean, I as much as you know. Social media is so much better because you get the results instantaneously. I mean, idea of the magazine showcasing the beautiful physiques of these guys at their best, with the best lighting, with the best photographers. I mean, those pictures are forever. They're eternal. I mean, these guys today don't have these pictures of themselves. They have cell phone cameras, pictures of themselves. No one's commissioning photo shoots anymore for any magazines, and it's a shame, because there's going to be a new generation of people that don't have these pictures like we have of Jay, of Ronnie. I mean, think about some of the wacky stuff that we have of these, Haney, Gaspari, Lee Priest, all the crazy stuff that was commissioned over the last, 40 years of pro bodybuilding. The new guys don't have that. Like I said, they have Instagram, but they have their cell phones, but that's it.
People post like, my last update, from the Olympia or Classic Olympia 5 weeks out. Prior to that, you'd have to call up Mitsuru or Kabi, whatever his last name.
Right.
Because he would travel all around the country and shoot people for the battle for the Olympia, and he'd get to see like Dorian 4 weeks. Well, I don't think Dorian ever did battle for the Olympia, but
he was the only one who wouldn't participate.
Yeah, get to see Flex or Sean Ray or Kevin or Dillette 5 weeks out and get the report from Mitsuru.
I mean, where would you get you can never get a picture like that anymore. I mean, look at that. That's a great paraphernalia picture of Lee. I mean, we just don't have this stuff anymore. It's not around. There's no more commissioned photo shoots. And, there are maybe some supplement companies that might be commissioning some photos, just for their ads and stuff like that. But there's nothing like the layouts they had. Someone was saying, that they saw a picture of. I gotta look for these pictures of the ones where you remember the glute hamstring pictures.
Dave, let me ask you this: how many at its peak? How many people were working in the MD office?
Probably like 10.
Oh my God!
He didn't have as many as Weider did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Weider was like a full-blown operation.
Yeah. Weider had it all. Yeah. I mean, where would you get pictures like this? Hold on. Blackman saw me at this show. He called Romano. He's like, we gotta get glute pictures of Palumbo. Think about that. No, you can't capture that on a cell phone. I mean, that's paraphernalia at his best.
Yeah.
These guys today will never have a picture like that ever. I mean, unless, like I said, unless they know someone who's a professional photographer who can
hire her for $15,000.
You know what? If I was Mr. Olympia and I made $400,000 in here, I'm throwing this out there to you, Samson, Derek, all the guys that are making money. I would call Per Bernal up and I would say, Per, when the show's over, I'm going to fly you out. Derek has his own gym. Samson has his own gym. I want you to do a photo shoot for 3 days with me. I want every body part shot. I want, marketing stuff shot. And you know what? Pay the freaking guy. He's freaking expensive as hell, but he is the best. And those pictures you'll have for the rest of your life. You can use them for marketing. You can use them for, put them on your Instagram. You can blow them up to the size of your wall and put them on your house. That's how high quality these pictures would be. And you're doing a disservice to yourself as Mr. Olympia and as Arnold Class champ or whatever, Nick Walker, same thing. If you don't get pictures like that, and you'll regret it. I'm telling you, I remember people used to tell me, take as many pictures as you can of yourself. We didn't have anything. We had throwaway cameras. And I wish I would have listened. Cormier, remember Cormier had those old camcorders? He would come, he was videotaping himself everywhere he went. And he has all that footage. He was brilliant to do that. No one thought about it. And I'm telling you guys, all you top guys, get the pictures taken. Pay for it. It doesn't matter. It's worth it. I promise you. You probably waste money on a lot of stupider shit. Instead of buying a new car, get Per Bernal out there and get some pictures of yourself. He'll give you all the digital copies. You'll have them forever. I promise you. You will thank me and you'll say, Dave, thank you for telling me to do that. So,
Dave, the other
I only want 10% commission on whatever you make on these guys. But
the other Olympia updates would come from Chris Lund.
Yes, Chris was great too during his day with Flex Magazine.
Not the photos, but if you went to the gym, Weeder would hire him to shoot like the top 10 guys, maybe
Right.
out 4 weeks out while they're in shape because he needed the material for the entire year.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And when he would go to Dorian Yates gym,
and he'd shoot like, Cormier Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Gillette Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is like starting from a month out. He'd shoot Jay, he'd shoot Ronnie, and he would give you a rundown of like how people looked.
I think everyone remembers this picture. I'll put it up. I mean, these black and whites. What was that 6 weeks out from the 03 Olympia? From the 93 Olympia?
Or 92, maybe.
No, that was 93. Because that was when he looked his biggest, freakiest.
Yeah, 93.
Yeah, I mean, these were Chris. Someone told Chris Lund, hey, Dorian looks crazy. And he went into the gym and he took these black and whites and sent them to Weeder. And Weeder's like, I guess Weeder was saying, I'm going to publish. I don't want to publish pictures of him 6 weeks out. Chris is like, you got to see these pictures. They're retarded looking. They're like, he's like 290 here or something like that. And they were crazy. People went nuts when they saw these pictures.
Yeah, I remember. I do remember. Yeah, they did go nuts, completely nuts.
These pictures, you could actually see how good his legs are.
Legs are great.
They're huge. I mean, his calves were huge. His back was crazy. This would have been for most people, this would be a good stage. This would be a good stage look for him,
Yeah, well, you talked to him. He said he should have stayed like around that weight or a little bit lower.
Yeah. All right, Chris, I got a meeting I got to go to, but
he's got homework he's got to correct.
I got homework I got to do. Yeah, Chris, you would not believe the amount of homework I have. Let me tell you. But congratulations, Urs Kalecinski, going to the Olympia in the open class. Great move. I hope we see Quentin Aree on that stage as well. We got the Dennis James Germany show coming up in 2 weeks, or in a week, I should say. Okay. Yeah, but we're out of time for now. Chris, as we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.